That's a very good question. At least two answers, probably many more. One of them being people that you are related to by blood, but perhaps more importantly, people that you're related to by proximity or sympathy in a community. And in fact, as life goes on, that sort of family becomes rather more important.
I don't know, family's just who you happen to have been born to. And then if you get on, that's a bonus, really.
I think family these days means the people that I'm close to and the people that I'm happy with and I'm connected with.
Because I'm far from my family, they are living in my country in Iran, and family means to me home.
Family is people you love and that you spend time with, like, most of the time.
My name is Caroline Jones, and I grew up in London. Well, in terms of the family sort of oral history, so, Dad, he grew up in Liverpool, and apparently there was this every afternoon at about 4 o'clock, great-grandmother used to take tea with the parrots, and he was only invited once to partake. The thing was that with the parrots, they'd been given her by sailors, and one of the parrots only spoke the Lord's Prayer, and the other one only used expletives like, what the going on here, etc. And so every afternoon, 4 o'clock, she had a maid that would bring a tray with 3 cups, the tea and wafers. And they would let the birds out of the cage, and they would sit on the edge of the tray and dip their wafers in the tea and then eat them. So what you had was this scene, you can just imagine, the scene was, one of the parrots is going, I've got a chair in heaven, and the other one's going, oh, bang her off.
Okay, my name's Susan O'Reilly, and I grew up in a little village in Oxfordshire called Charlton-on-Otnor. Growing up, it was a very rural community, mainly farms at that stage. No street lights, no sewerage, no running water, no anything much. Kids running wild in the fields. I had a little friend called Wendy that lived in the farm opposite, and I was allowed to play with Wendy. I was about 5. I mean, things were different then. I was out of the house playing with Wendy, and we thought we'd go and watch the lambs going through the sheep pen. And so we've got this sort of trough of extremely dirty looking water with chemicals, and Wendy and I are standing there watching the lambs, fascinated, and I still don't quite remember what happened, but the next minute I'm finding myself floating on the top of all this muck with my little pinafore dress, out like a fairy, thinking, how did I get here? And actually not being frightened, just being fascinated. And Wendy's big brother Barry suddenly grabbed me by the straps of my pinafore dress, hauled me out, took me home to Mother, who was absolutely furious, put me straight into a tin bath in front of the fire and scrubbed the living daylights out of me, and then rewarded Barry with a big box of chocolates.
finding games and playing games with each other, being together with each other is really good, because then we feel that we are part of the same family. Put it to your hands! Put it in your knees! Put it to your elbows! We're gonna look up. We're gonna look on the other side.
A family is being with grandparents, and in Penfold, my family at church, spiritual family.
There are two types of families. The one that you are where you are born, and the one that you get to choose once you get older. Like, be part of their families, and so as well they be part of your family.
Your eyes are working really hard to look through this. They've been limited. We lose our peripheral vision. In the center. Looking at everybody with the tip of your nose.
Neighbour Sue. I grew up in Paddington and Marylebone, this area, Church Street, Lisson Grove. Yeah. And I read to both my children. Sometimes I'd lay down with them and make up stories. We'd do pretend. I'm good at that. Let's pretend we're camping, or let's pretend we're in the forest. And remember, there's a window open, so there's a little bit of breeze. We've got to try and block it out, because then we want to be all cuddled up. So get the covers around, covered up. And that, ooh, the noise, the wind coming up, the rustle of the leaves, and of course they believed it. My daughter said to me, "Is like, but Mum, you still believe that?" I went, "Oh yeah."
My name is Edward Tufts. I was born in Norfolk. I was the only child. My mum split away from my dad when I was a baby, so didn't really know him until adult life. We used to go to just like London a lot for different trips, and I think it was the National Science Museum, and it was the time you could actually feed the pigeons. So that was me, really little, standing with boards and actually covered in pigeons head to toe.
does family mean to you?
Love.
Family to me is a collection of either people, or it could be, you can have a collection of animals or a collection of anything, living things can be a family.
Well, a mother and father and children getting along happily, looking after each other, looking after the world.
I'm Deirdre Skinner, and I was born in a town in Victoria in Australia. When I was little, my mother, we had a pear tree, and I went to kindergarten, so I must have only been about 5, with my friend Helen Parker, who lived up the road in the next house. We went to kindergarten together, and I don't know what happened, but there was a pear hanging from the pear tree. And I can remember my mother saying to me, and Helen Parker, "Do not pick that pear." We didn't. We ate it, but we didn't pick it.
How did you do that?
We just stood there and ate the pear.
And what happened afterwards?
My mother came out, I can still see it. My mother came out. And I stood there and said, "But we didn't pick it." Whoops-a-daisy. Yes.
My name is George Lipkin. I grew up in the Bronx, a borough of New York. I met my wife in 1959 in Vienna at the World Conference of Youth and Students for Peace and Friendship, for Frieden und Freundschaft. We were both attending. I was in the American delegation, she was in a British delegation, and it was love at first sight. Then I traveled around Europe for a bit, and she went back to England, and I ended up going to England. I looked her up in her address. She wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I couldn't read her handwriting. So I was in London. I had this piece of paper with the chicken scratches on it, and so I went up to a policeman and said, "Do you know where this is?" And he said, "Oh, I think that is Chalk Farm," he said. So what do I know what a Chalk Farm is anyway? So I found Chalk Farm on the underground. I went to Chalk Farm. I tried to find someone who could read this chicken scratches. Well, eventually I did find out where it was. Knocked on the door. They opened the door, which was a complete cluttered mess in her little bed set. Probably, what are you doing here? And anyway, went about town, went out to places, did see things, did things. Anyway, she worked for the BBC, so which was quite. She worked for the World Service as a typist. She was a very accurate typist.
Here we go! We have to do that as well! Here we go!
Sportissimo, tintamento.
Oh, Yamo, you are a boyfriend.
Oh, how could I know this?
Oh, family means when you like someone a lot. I think it's about love and about connection.
There are people that aren't family, but if you need a shoulder to cry on, or if something happens, they're generally there for you. Also people that you just enjoy seeing and having fun with, people of your own age and things like that. So.
We would like family to mean togetherness, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Everybody wants to do their own thing.
Family is love.
My name's Valerie and I was born in Rochford and I've grown up in Essex. There was mainly my mum and dad and myself, so it was quite a small family unit. When I was a slightly older child, I have a memory of galloping on horseback in Tunisia, and my dad looked really proud and my mum just looked absolutely scared. There was an instructor, it was a lesson. Basically it was a case of my horse was like, oh, you can canter. Yeah, well, this horse doesn't do canter, it just goes walk, trot, gallop. So I was like, have you galloped? No. Oh, you'll be fine, just hold on tight. And the horse was galloping round and round the ring. You just sort of hold the reins and lean forward and sort of try and take your weight off the horse and let the horse take you around. My mum just looked absolutely petrified. My dad was like, oh, it's my child up there. It was really good fun, it was really exciting.
I'm Jenny. I was born in Hong Kong. 2 brothers, I'm the eldest, the only girl. Because we are just happened the position where the house was, we could walk up a long walk up to the peak, the Victoria Peak as well. There was also a garden there, a public garden. You could go in with lovely flowers and so on. But my brother picked up, I remember, not inside the garden, but outside wild one of those beautiful flower, a hydrangea. So he gave it to me. I was holding it. Being a little kid, didn't realize that you shouldn't, hold your flower in the garden because it's suspicious. I went in, and the policeman was there. Hey, that's naughty. You picked up, this flower. So I said, no, my brother picked it up outside for me. My youngest brother, I don't think he had a clue. My middle brother, because he was the one who picked the flower for me, he stood by me and nodded his head and agreed. And he let me go.
Well, my name is Richard Fentiman, and I was born and bred in Epsom in Surrey. My birthday is on the 31st of December, so that's New Year's Eve. And once I became a bell ringer, there was always a tradition of New Year's Eve that you'd ring the bells for New Year's Eve at midnight, and then a bit afterwards. So we used to have the most wonderful parties at home, where my parents were very good, and family and uncles used to come round. And then we'd have a party, and then at about 11:15 we'd all walk off to the church, these bell ringers would, and we'd ring the bells for midnight and then walk back and carry on with the party. And we used to sing quite a lot, sort of, I suppose they were songs that were common knowledge then within the country. And everybody would go out in the garden and listen. It was wonderful.
sisters, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Sing it together. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Living life is fun, and we've just begun.
I think family is closeness to people. Yeah.
It's a gathering of like-minded people who care about each other.
What does family mean to you?
Togetherness, affection, so on, support.
My mama used to say the family is only when we eat in the same home and the same plate.
What does family mean? I think it means community. I think it means a oneness and a closeness with people that you love and cherish, and you all want to support each other.
My background is music and theatre, and if you are in theatre and you get a cast, and you learn a script, and you have a director, and you've got all the people that support you in theatre, and if it's right, if it all comes right, then you've got a family.
Togetherness. That's important.
I think it's much more larger than my biological family. You know, it means to me my friends, people I live close, people I work with.
Family means cohesion, strong sense of togetherness. As humans, our spirit is very weak, and sometimes we become very intolerant of others. But if families value and show respect to each other, you develop a sense of cohesion.
Family is everything. Family is love. Everything.